Coach's Corner here, and today we're talking with the women's soccer team and head coach Anthony Longo with us. And Coach, how are you doing? How are you feeling about the season so far?
Good. We've had a pretty decent start. You know, it was a good experience going on the road, seeing two different types of teams. So, not the record that we wanted to come back with, but yeah, I think game to game we did a lot of good things, and the growth is definitely there.
You know, when you talk about the growth, I mean, a 7-0 win, your last game, which was on Sunday, the 24th, a big win for that, and got a lot of goals. And we're going to talk to one of the freshmen who actually scored a lot of those goals, scored 3 of them. So excited to do that. But what are you seeing from this team so far that maybe is different from what you've seen in the past?
I think, you know, just in terms of talent, there's a whole lot more depth. And, you know, with bringing in more talent, we've got a really good sophomore group returning, but then you add in a really deep and talented freshman class. There's just more competition. You know, the mentality is definitely a lot better in terms of wanting to come in and fight for spots and make an impression right away. So just dealing with the everyday, you know, competitiveness in practice and just more talent. You know, we talked about that as the program grows. Obviously, the talent is going to grow as well. So that's been really fun to work with. You know, we have options now that we can make little adjustments here and there. You know, players, they can be held accountable a little bit more, where if they're not performing, we can throw somebody else on. So that's been really nice.
You know, one of the cool parts is this isn't the first university that you've been at. You've been at this one for a while, but you actually were at Indian Hills. Tell us a little bit about some of the stuff, the success rates that you had there. I know you also went 85, 17, and 7, so pretty solid spot there.
Yeah, I mean, again, it was just continuing to grow. It was definitely a different situation than taking over here at Gillette when I took over at Indian Hills. The team was there. You know, I basically took over the day before, so, you know, the recruiting was done, the planning, all that. You kind of just got to focus on coaching and you know, make some mistakes right away, and it wasn't costing you, you know, time and effort because all that was already in place. So, you know, I think we had a lot of talent. So you got to manage talent pretty quickly. And, you know, knowing how to push the players there and knowing how to, you know, go out and play really good teams. The Region 11 is a really good region, you know, across the board. So, you know, you just kind of realized real quickly how you wanted to build a team, what it takes to win at this level. And certainly, you know, we're going to try to bring that same success here.
So for those that may not know you, even though you've been here for a while, there might be people that are like, man, who is Coach Longo? So tell us a little bit of backstory, history about, you know, obviously Indian Hills, but what else have you done to come over here to get this job here with Pronghorns?
Yeah, I mean, you know, nobody ever wants to hear about somebody's playing career. You know, obviously played in college, but, you know, got into coaching pretty quickly. Right out of graduation, went back to my old high school. Coached along with my dad, coached with the boys program as well that I actually played for. Got into, you know, kind of a part-time assistant job at one of the colleges there on the men's side at Culver Stockton College. Yeah, and then the Indian Hills job came along, stayed there for 6 years. We had a great run. Then this popped open and it was kind of a no-brainer. So, yeah, that's the short end of everything.
You know, a lot of times new coaches come in here and they're just like, man, I love this community of Gillette. Is that kind of what's kept you here for so long? Is it the community? Is it the soccer? What's kind of the reason that you've been here for so long?
Yeah, you know, certainly the community is great. They embrace sports. It's a sports town. It's a competitive town. You know, everybody talks about wanting to win, and you know the expectations that while you know some people don't want that. You know, they want to come in and, you know, kind of coast through. I think it's awesome. You know, pressure is definitely a privilege. So you've got people that are expecting a lot of really good things. You know, and before the program shut down, you know, they were at the national tournament, you know, in year 3. So that's certainly a goal that we're trying to get as well. So the ability to, you know, why I came here and why I wanted to stay is build something from the absolute ground up. And you really get to see. I've said it before a couple times that if we have a lot of success, it's because of the hard work. You know, myself, Carl Matson, our assistant coach, and all the players have done. And if we fail, you know, it's kind of on my shoulders. So that was always very intriguing. But the town itself is great. The schools are awesome. You know, the family's happy. My wife is the marketing director here, so she's enjoying it as well. So yeah, there's a lot of positives.
So it's just all family oriented.
Yeah,
basically you're stuck here for the rest of your life now,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk to some players coming up here in a moment that, they're not stuck here for the rest of their life, but if they chose to be, they could stay in Gillette for the rest of their life, but who knows? We're going to talk with Addy Harris and Lexi Wells. Tell us a little bit about some of their play style, what they've done so far for this team this year.
Yeah, start off with one of the captains, Addy. Sophomore coming back. She's done a really good job. We've seen the growth. We were very happy. We weren't too high on recruiting another goalie to come in and try to win that starting job. We liked the growth that Addy showed all through freshman year, and we knew coming in she was certainly going to be reliable. So she's come in and done really good things. I think the scoreline obviously isn't going to show it, but she was awesome in the Western game. She made saves when needed. Unfortunately, we just couldn't bail her out when we needed to. She made some saves in the Central Wyoming game, which we needed as well, and then obviously getting the shutout against Lamar was huge. I think that's good for her confidence. Rolling into a long weekend of games, and then going into region play after that, and then just the team as a whole. So she's grown. I like just the talent alone has obviously grown, but it's the leadership skills that are important back there. She's always communicating. She's gotten very good with her feet, which is something that we require in the way that we want to play soccer.
Absolutely.
So she's done some really good things. We're extremely happy with her.
Addy, my goodness, I was looking at all of her saves and everything that she's done. It's been absolutely impressive. And even this year so far, she has made tons of saves already with 16. She had 85 last year, so already she's just bumping it up there another notch. So we're going to get to talk with her coming up here in a second. But what's one thing, besides all the stats, besides everything across the board, between on and off the soccer field, what's one thing that whenever she does graduate, you're going to remember about her playing goalie or her playing on your team?
Oh, I mean, you can talk on the field, off the field. On the field, it's the leadership. She does a really good job. Goalie has to they got to communicate. They have to be able to be relied on when needed. And she's definitely grown in that area. Very happy with the communication all there and just the little mistakes. I think anybody that comes, from the high school level, it's the next step up. You got to be focused for 90 minutes. You have to do all the little things right. And she's definitely done that so far this year. Off the field, she's just awesome. She's fun to be around. I think I think a lot of coaches would say that about their players, but she's good with the other girls in the group. She's a good leader, and she's just funny. She's good to be around. So you're always going to miss the kids on the field, and those are obviously you can replace a goalie, but it's the little locker room stuff. Those are the ones that are always hard to replace, and Addie's certainly one we're going to miss when she's gone.
Absolutely. Well, we're actually going to talk with Addy Harris coming up here after this break. We're going to get back here with more Coach's Corner coming your way after this. And welcome back to Coach's Corner here, as we are now joined by goalkeeper who saves everyone's butts here on the soccer field, Addy Harris. Addy, how are you doing?
Good.
Awesome. Well, Addy, so far this year, how are you feeling about your play style? Coach talked about leadership, the way you were rolling. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling really good. I'm really confident going into this season. We have a lot of new talent this year, so I'm just really excited to see what we can do.
You come from Casper, and obviously that's one of those rivalry names that Gillette doesn't like to say. So how different was it whenever you came from Kelly Walsh over here to Gillette? What was the shift change?
I wouldn't really say there was necessarily like a shift change. I think both places are really good. The community in Gillette is really awesome, so I wouldn't necessarily say there was a huge shift in that aspect.
When you were recruited, what was one of the main things that was like, hey, this was, Coach was like, this is absolutely amazing, but we got to work on this? What was one of those things?
I just think for me, it was I really connected with the coaches, and I could tell they were both very passionate about what they were doing, and it was honestly just putting my trust in them, and I could tell they wanted to do really good things and that it was going to come eventually, and I think this year is our year, and it was just putting my trust in them. So.
Training-wise, obviously it's probably a little bit different from high school to college. What are some of those training look like? What does it look like for you?
The training, I think it's just definitely higher intensity in practice, games. I would definitely say in practice, a lot more work. Sometimes I do like individual practice, which is really nice. I didn't really get a lot of that in high school, so just the intensity level is a lot higher.
And that's something really big is making sure that the energy stays up, especially when you guys need it up, out
Right.
there on the soccer field. For those that may not know and may not have ever been to a soccer match, may have just seen some on TV, what is like the atmosphere like?
I would say like during games.
Yeah, during games, just
I would say a lot of high energy, excitement, maybe a little bit of nervousness. I don't know, especially with this team, I think there's a little bit of nerves because a lot of people have high expectations for us, but also a lot of excitement to be like, this is our year. We want to show you what we've been working for, and yeah.
as a goalkeeper, how much different is it than just being like a midfielder or anyone that's like actually trying to be on the offensive side, trying to score, do all that stuff? What's the difference like between you and them?
I think the difference is definitely that I can see the whole field, and I control a lot more things because I can see what the defense can't see, what the midfield can't see. So just really controlling like the whole game and just seeing different perspectives of what's going on.
What's one thing right now as being that sophomore leader that you've had to kind of dial in to help out these freshmen this year?
I would say just honestly communication and building relationships with the freshmen. I mean, almost our whole defensive line is freshmen, so I think if you don't have a relationship with them, they're not going to work with you as well. So just getting relationships with all the girls and getting them to trust me and what I'm telling them is correct and just things like that.
We talked goalie, so obviously you're getting all these saves. This is you're the main front of anyone trying to score. You're that block, you're that wall. You average around 5 saves a game already. I mean, what have you done in your training to make this possible, to do this for your team?
I just think putting the constant work in and then really working on my self-confidence and believing in myself, having confidence in my team, and trusting just my back line, things like that.
Getting away from the stats real fast, everyone probably wants to know what's the pregame snack, what's the pregame beverage that you like to have before every game?
I do drink Red Bull. I know it's not good for you, but I would definitely say probably a Red Bull. And then I think for me, like listening to music in the locker room, getting the team hype, making sure everyone's locked in, just things like that.
So we're talking Red Bull now because you brought it up. What flavor? Do we just like the regular one? Do we like the peach? Do we like all these crazy different flavors? Well, what's your go-to?
Mine is coconut.
Coconut.
Yes.
Never had the coconut. Is
You
it
should
actually
try
good?
It is.
Really?
Yes.
I have to. Red Bulls are bad for you kids. Don't drink them, but sometimes they give you energy when you're on long days. But so music-wise, you said you're trying to hype up your crew. Are you just putting your headphones in, or are you actually the one blasting the music that everyone has to listen to?
Yeah, I'm usually the one blasting the music. I usually connect to the locker room. I usually play music at practice, just things like that. I guess I'm like the DJ of the team, so.
Now, what's the music like? Is it country? Is it rock? Is it hip hop? Is it whatever's happening here in 2025 music? What's kind of the music vibe?
I would say more rap, pop style.
Okay.
Not so much country, just like that hype music.
Not hype music. Hey, whatever works, right? Get you in the right mindset for games and get you going. So when you first walk out, obviously you're a sophomore now, so it may not feel the same. But when you were a freshman, when you first walked onto that soccer field for a game, how did that feel?
I was definitely a little bit nervous because the level from going from high school to college is definitely a big jump. But I was excited, but there was definitely a lot of nerves there.
Well, you're a sophomore, so that means you got to start figuring out what future plans are. So what are you studying right now, and what do you hope to study in the future?
I'm studying elementary education right now, and I just hope to keep studying that, become a teacher, have my own classroom one day.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. So you want to teach the young kids?
Yes, I do.
That's a little different from what Tatum Gardner, she said. She was like, I want to be a high school teacher. And I'm like, man, I'd rather be an elementary school teacher.
Yeah.
Like, that would be so much easier. So what's the grade of choice?
Kindergarten.
Kindergarten.
I know everyone's like, no, but
So now I got to take that statement back. Why kindergarten?
I don't know. I enjoy working with little kids, and when I was in
Okay.
when I was in elementary school, I remember having a good relationship with a lot of my teachers, and just they make a big impact on your life. So I hope I can do that for some kids.
Well, Addy, just real quick, let's get back into a little bit of some soccer. Obviously, right now, you guys are 1-2, not the start that you guys wanted. But you do have a match that's coming up here on Friday. But you guys just got a big win that boosted a lot of boosted probably a lot of momentum for you guys, winning 7-0 or 7-0 is what you should call it. What do you think that momentum shift? Do you think that's going to be a push coming forward?
Oh yeah, I definitely do think it will be. I think it was a big confidence boost in us and showing like, hey, we can win games and we can get shutouts, and so I just think it's a good confident boost going into this weekend with games.
So back to the freshman style of things. Obviously, you're the leader. You're trying to do everything. What have you seen from the freshmen that you're like, hey, we need to fix this, we need to do this, or just stepping in to try to create that culture?
I don't know. I would say the freshmen have been really, really good this year. I mean, a lot of talent. All of them work really hard. I think sometimes we need to work on our communication within everyone, because people are still getting to know each other, how other people play. But honestly, I'm really proud of our freshmen this year, and they all came in ready to go and a lot of talent. So.
Coach Longo, he's been here for a while, again, over at Indian Hills, too, been coaching for a long time. Obviously, we were talking about recruiting, saying that, you guys you kind of just fit in. It was just kind of one of those smush things. But what's one thing, now that you've seen him, now that he's coached you for a year and jumping into this, what's one thing that you will probably take away for the rest of your life?
I just think that he's a very passionate coach, and that really, when you can tell when he's coaching, he just wants the best for us. And I think, and as well as Carl, they're both just very passionate, and they really do want us to do our best. And I'll definitely take that with me, and they've both helped me with my confidence and the position I play, and that's also something that I'll carry with me as well.
So last question, it's one that I absolutely love because I love hearing the different answers, but what is one thing that, a little girl or a high school girl is watching this right now and listening to everything you're saying? What's that one thing that you would say to maybe encourage them to keep playing soccer? What is that?
I would just say, believe in yourself, keep working hard. Nothing's impossible. I know a lot of people say that, but if you really put the work in and set your mind to something, you can do it.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate your time, and thank you for joining us here on Coach's Corner.
Thank you.
Awesome. Once again, that's Addy Harris here. We're still rocking here with the women's soccer team. We're going to get back to head coach Anthony Longo coming your way back here on the Coach's Corner. And welcome back to Coach's Corner. Again, rocking with the women's soccer team here. Again, bringing back head coach Anthony Longo. And before we jump into talking about Lexi Wells, what are some things that you might have taken away from what Addy Harris was saying?
I think you can tell she's a confident kid. She enjoys what she does. She's definitely a hard worker. So she's one of those kids that you recruit, and she knew what she wanted to do coming in. And those are the fun kids to recruit because you can point them in a direction. You can say you're here for 2 years. You're going to take these classes, and then it's obviously our job to help find her with that next step. So. No, she's been a pleasure to coach, and she's just grown. They all do, but I think she's taken a really big jump.
And you talk about big jump. What was the recruiting process like for recruiting her? Obviously, she said that you guys blended in really well, everything with the atmosphere. But what were some of those things that you saw in her that you're like, we need to have this person?
Obviously, she's got a history of success. Coming off back-to-back state championships, if you're able to sign those goalies, that's you take that right away. So we definitely watched enough. That the sophomores that we have now, that was really a 2-year process recruiting them. We came in and started it, and it was pretty much take whoever was still available. But we knew that the 2024 class, that was going to be something that we had to hit really hard. So the relationship was built over a long period of time. Carl, he was good friends with Jerry, her high school coach. So the relationships were pretty much built right away, and then it was really just talking, the communication, staying in touch, and just watching her throughout the year. So it's a constant effort of building the confidence in them to let them know that they can come in. I think when you're recruiting Certain times kids in high school, they're not sure that they can come and play at this level. They're pretty happy with where they're at. But it's continuing to say, you can come in and be a really big part of this. We knew that whoever was coming in 2024 was going to be the girl we wanted for 2 years. So it was fun. She was a fun player to recruit.
And that's awesome. Well, speaking of fun, let's talk about Lexi Wells. I mean, coming all the way from Idaho, man, how much recruiting time did that one take to pull her in here?
Yeah, it was a long effort to get her in, and I say that in a good way because she was in demand. She had a lot of people wanting her. I mean, obviously the success in high school speaks for itself. So everybody wants goal scorers. But it was fun. She was always one to pick up the phone. There wasn't long stretches where there was no communication or, hey, I'm not sure. We were always, I think, in the top 2 or 3 schools that she was looking at. So it was just continuing again to build her up and let her know that, yes, Idaho's a long way, but it's not that far. You can still come. And certainly what we had to continue to reiterate was to see the growth of the program. From year 1 to year 2, we're obviously going to hopefully take strides in year 3 as well. And we needed somebody to come in and be a goal scorer, and she's definitely that.
And she definitely did that, scoring 3 goals against Lamar Community College, and that was a 7-0 win. And what did you see from her in that game that was different than maybe the Black Hills, Dakota State game, or any of those like scrimmages games, Iowa Western, Central Wyoming? What were some of the things that you saw differently?
Well, obviously just she scored. I think what Lexi does translates in every single game. She's an unbelievably hard worker. She presses well. She's constantly moving, and she's just a thorn in the side of the defenders right away. Sometimes that's going to translate to goals, and sometimes it's not. She had chances against Iowa Western, had chances against Central Wyoming. They just didn't fall. That's the life of a goal scorer. Sometimes you're consistent 1 or 2, and sometimes you go a game or 2, and then you're going to score 3 or 4. So. The part that I'm very happy with about her is the effort's always there. She's been battling knee injury, and she will work as hard as she possibly can until she can't. Then she asks for a little time off. We get her a breather, and then she's back in, and she's back at 100%. So, I'm very happy, even though 2 goals, or the first 2 games there were no goals. Everything we talked about, everything we coached her to do, she was doing it extremely well. And again, sometimes it translates to stats, sometimes it doesn't. But the effort's always there.
Absolutely. Well, we're actually going to talk with Lexi Wells coming up here after this break, and we'll be back here with more Coach's Corner coming your way. And welcome back with Coach's Corner. Now joining us here with Lexi Wells, the 3-goal scorer from against Lamar Community College. Lexi, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well. Well, before we get into this, you said you've done this a few times, back there in Idaho. How did those go?
Yep. So the first time I did it was when we won state, and I ended up scoring the winning goal at state this year, which led my high school team to win the first ever state championship that the girls soccer team has ever won before.
So I'm in the midst of a celebrity right now, basically. It's basically what I'm hearing. So, yeah, that's pretty awesome. Yeah. So, winning state, obviously, in Idaho is, I feel like, do you think it's more difficult? Or how do you think the competition is out there compared to maybe what you may have heard from other states?
The competition here in Gillette is a lot bigger, for sure. I came in knowing that I have to work my butt off, and I was excited to do that, and I was here to work. So
one of the things Coach said is you were always communicating with him, and that's a key for a lot of recruiters is as long as you communicate with the coach, they normally still are interested in you. So how hard was it to keep up with all the teams trying to recruit you?
Yeah, I definitely think communicating with coaches is a lot different, from communicating just with your high school coach. Communicating with a college coach is you have to keep consistent with it. And I was ready to do that because this was one of my top choices, because Anthony and Coach Longo, they were Coach, not son. See, guys, this is why I can't do anything live.
No, it's okay. No,
Please cut that out.
oh no, I think we gotta
Yeah.
leave that in blooper reel.
Yeah, Coach Longo and Coach Matson, they definitely were like one of my top choices, and they definitely reminded me of my high school coach, and that's what like was one of like my biggest like things that was like they made me like stand out.
You know, you kind of opened the door with it with your high school coach. What were some of the things different that he or she did than what coach is doing now?
So my coach back at home is Mark Wetstein, and he definitely pushed me to my best level, and Coach Longo definitely does that for me too. But some of the different things is he tells me what I can do better, and if I'm not, he'll pull me out, tell me what I can do better, and then I'll go right back in and do exactly what he told me to do.
So what is training like for you? As obviously when you get in here as a freshman, you're trying to work your butt off, trying to get into a starting role. What did training look like for you?
Training was definitely hard. Definitely the fitness test was a big hard point for me because I am on a knee injury right now.
Oh.
But I pushed through it and I got it done. But the training level, you just have to be at high intensity every practice. So I just went in first practice and I was like, this is what I'm here for. I got chosen for a reason and this is why I'm here.
So you're still on a knee injury
Yeah.
right now? So you're still playing soccer. You're
Yeah.
still scoring 3 goals. You're still working your butt off, sprinting all throughout. Golly.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So how long have you been dealing with this knee injury?
So it started back in March, and I don't really know what happened. It's called patellofemoral pain syndrome, and it's where my kneecap just shifts to the side, and it's where I don't have like enough muscle in my left side of my knee, so it just shifts like over to the side, and so it just rubs right on that.
That
other
sounds
side of
so
it.
painful.
Yeah, it can be at sometimes.
Does it sometimes like act up when you're sprinting down
Oh,
the
yeah.
field or anything?
Yeah.
And you just push through the pain.
Yeah, because usually like during games, I can't hear anything. Like, because
Oh,
my
yeah?
adrenaline is just so high. I'm just like ready to play, and so that's why it's just hard for me to like pay attention to like my knee
That's
pain.
crazy. But
Yeah.
is there like anything that like the doctors can do about it, or is it just like one of those where you might have to have surgery and then you'll be out for a while?
So what they said is there's nothing really I can do, but I can do rehabs to build more muscle into the knee. So I usually just do that. But I can get surgery on it, but I usually just tape it, put my brace on, and go play.
That's impressive, you know, and that just makes it even cool. You know, I mean, this room, state champ, first ever state champ. She's playing with a messed up knee that pretty much has no cure unless you want to try to get surgery for it. And you're still kicking butt out there. Holy cow. Yeah, no, celebrity in the midst, 100%. We need to put like a queen crown on you right now because that's insane. I mean, I'm not going to lie, there's probably numerous of guys that would not play with a broken or with a knee situation like that. And that's super impressive. Yeah. So anyways, let's kind of dive into what's been going on for you here in the schedule. Obviously, Lamar, you scored 3 goals. Then, you know, as Coach was saying, you had a chance against Iowa Western to get in something there. How hard is it as a goal scorer to actually get the goals or get the stuff that you need to boost your team?
It's definitely a big mindset. Like, you have to have that mindset going into the game. Like, it's just telling yourself, I can do this. I've scored so many goals before, but it's just like the matter of finding the right time. So you just have to keep working hard throughout the game, and if there's a chance, you just take it. I mean, sometimes you have to be selfish with it, and if there's a wide open other pass it. Like, it doesn't matter if it's me who scores or somebody else who scores, we're a team, and that's how it should be.
You know, segueing into team chemistry, how do you think that's been so far?
Oh, coming in, I was really nervous. I thought, like, the girls would be rude. But actually, when I first came in, all the sophomores and all the freshmen, we all got together on the first night that we were all here. We all got together and we sat out on the field and we introduced ourselves and what year we were and what, like, just like one of those icebreaker things that we did, and that really helped. And then we all just were friends.
That's
and we just
awesome.
became really good friends after that, and it's definitely built throughout the whole like team and chemistry. And I think that if we keep that up and like keep making it like a bigger like chance for us, I just know that we're gonna go far and we're gonna make it to Enid, Oklahoma, for sure.
You know, it's where I'm from, or I'm not from Enid, but I'm from Oklahoma, so
Okay.
that'd be cool getting to say, hey, you know, the soccer team's out in Oklahoma. You guys should go out to it. It'd be awesome. I might even fly down. It might actually be a fun time to go. But, you know, long way away, though. Big, long season to go. But obviously, we talked first-year experiences, team chemistry. But, you know, one of the things that I asked Addy, which is kind of a little different for you because this is your first year. When you walk down onto that soccer field for a game day, be it be on the road or at home, what has been that atmosphere like for you?
It's definitely been a big change. I came in just telling myself, like I said before, it's definitely a big competition. We all got recruited for a reason, and so I just need to put in all my effort and show what I got and show who I am.
So who would you say is the fastest person on the team?
Definitely Amber.
Amber, okay.
Amber.
Did you guys do like a 40-yard dash and like time it yet?
No.
No? Oh
No.
man, that'd be kind of fun to see, you know,
No.
see who really is the fastest. Have you
Yeah.
tried racing anyone yet?
No.
No. Okay. So you're
No.
just like, you know, your speed's on the field, so that's all that matters, right?
Yep, that's all that matters.
That's perfect.
Running that half field, getting that goal score. Yep.
That- That's it. I ain't going any
Yeah.
further than that.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome. Well, obviously, you know, first year coming in, you guys have a lot of stuff that you guys have done really well, especially, you know, getting some momentum. You know, I talked with Addy about how big is a momentum shift, getting into that 7-0 win over Lamar. Now you guys will play on Friday at Chandler Gilbert Community College, which you've got a few games that are going to be really good that are coming up and out-of-state teams. What are some of the mindsets that you guys have to have in order to try to get those wins?
As a team, we just have to go in knowing that we can win. Like Addy said, we can win 7-0. We can knock them to the ground, you know? And so we just have to have that mindset. We have to come together as a team and know that we can pass around the ball, keep possession, and just know that we can win.
So I asked Addy, I got to know, what's your pregame snack? What's your pregame drink?
So what I have to do is I have to go to bed early. Not early, but I go to bed at like 10:30, 11. I know that.
Oh,
doesn't
that's
sound
not early. I'm like thinking like 7
No.
o'clock,
No,
8
no, no.
o'clock, 10:30.
Like,
Wow.
10:30 is pretty early for me, but then I wake up and then I usually have yogurt, granola, and strawberries. And then I just listen to hype music.
So what kind of yogurt are we just like just the normal plain yogurt or what's the
Yeah, the plain like vanilla
straight yogurt?
Yep.
And granola and strawberries,
Strawberries,
and that's the pregame ritual.
And orange juice.
And
I
orange
love
juice.
to
Can't
drink
forget
orange
the OJ.
juice. Yes, the
Gotta
orange
get your
juice, yes.
gotta get your vitamin C in there.
Yeah.
Goodness. I go to bed early, 10:30, 11. So are your midnight owls basically what you're saying?
Yeah. Usually.
Usually?
Usually, yes.
So what are you, did you ever like, what, were you just like playing on your phone or stuff like as like midnight owl, or were you out hanging out with friends till like 1, 2, 3 in the morning?
I guess it just depends. I mean, I'm usually in bed, but
Just
scrolling on
chilling, just
TikTok,
scrolling
yeah.
through TikTok. Oh, hey, it's 2 in the
Yeah.
morning. Probably should go to bed. Put that away.
Yeah.
Wow, I used to be able to do that. I was a DJ, so like I was DJing at 2 big country bars in Oklahoma, but and I always had to go up until like 2 a.m. I don't think I
Yeah.
can do that now because I've tried already, and it does not work. So, but yeah, no, that's super cool. Granola, yogurt, strawberries. Hey, at least it's healthier than Red Bull. I got to give you credit for that. But again, don't drink Red Bull, kids. But music-wise, I know Addy was saying that she's the one that plays the music. But what's your go-to hype music that you listen to?
Definitely like rap, hip hop. I love to dance, and so that will just get like my adrenaline going, you know.
So dancing-wise, interpretive
Yes.
dancing, hip-hop dancing. What kind of dance are we talking about?
So I used to do competitive hip hop dancing. So,
That's awesome.
So that's what kind of just gets my momentum going, and
Maybe
adrenaline.
that's why your knee is messed up.
Maybe.
Goodness
Maybe,
gracious. So you're a big dancer. So have you taught any of the teams some dances yet?
No.
No?
No.
Are you going to?
Sure, if they want me to.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Lexi, appreciate your time for
Yeah,
coming
thank
on the
you.
Coach's Corner. And man, have best luck on the rest of the season. Obviously, we'll talk later throughout the year. But go teach those gals some dance moves.
Oh, I will.
Yeah, we gotta get a video of it, and then we'll put it on the
Yes,
Coach's
there
Corner
we
and be like,
go.
previous on the Coach's Corner. So we're gonna get back to more Coach's Corner coming up after this. We're gonna wrap things up with head coach Anthony Longo again here with the women's soccer team. And welcome back here with Coach's Corner. Chase the Horseman Horsley here again alongside with head coach Anthony Longo as we're gonna wrap this thing up. We're gonna talk about the schedule, talk about what's coming up and the goals for this soccer team. But first, let's talk about Lexi Wells. I mean, just got done talking. She's a competitive hip-hop dancer is what she used to be. So are we going to get to see some moves from you?
No, I can assure you that won't happen. So, no, I think maybe, with big enough goal, we got to have a little choreographed dance with the team out there. Starting 11, got a little dance celebration.
That would be awesome. Like getting to see that, put a video on that. Yeah. That would go viral.
Oh, I would think it would.
I think everyone would be super stoked about that. So, but you got to get involved with it though.
I don't know. Maybe I'll hold the camera. Maybe I'll record it. Yeah.
Well, obviously, first year here with Lexi Wells. Talk about her dedication and grit. I mean, she talked about her knee and being injured, pretty much going to be for this whole season, but she's still working her butt off to make sure that she's still able to fight for her team. Tell us a little about some of the things.
Yeah, I mean, she's obviously a hard worker. That's what we want in that, forward position. So she came in, and again, the communication was awesome the whole way through. She said it was bothering her, not to stress about it too much. She's going to be here. She's going to work hard. And that's just little stuff you have to manage. She's not going to be the only one that is going to be battling stuff throughout the year. So, what I like about her is, when we put her in, she's going to go until she can't. And then, she's pretty good about communicating it, but, you get to read the players pretty well after the first week or so. And we know when it's bothering her. And when she needs a little breather, we can get her out. So, yeah, just got to manage it throughout the year. That we have Natalie's come in and our athletic trainer, she's done an awesome job. Girls love her. She's really working hard, and I know they're going to get that sorted between themselves. And, Lexi's going to be good to go. The whole point of bringing in more competition and all that is not relying on one single person to do everything and not relying on your players to go 90 minutes. So we've definitely got the depth. We need Lexi to give everything that she can. And when she needs to come off, we've got somebody else that can come on. So we never want to burden a player thinking that she's got to do everything.
Absolutely, and it kind of feels like leadership between Addy and Lexi, even though Lexi's a freshman, it kind of feels like it's already jumped up there. She's just been that kind of person that's been, trying to be that goal scorer, trying to be that runner, but apparently Amber's the fastest, so I can't wait to get to talk with Amber. So hopefully we'll have a 40-yard dash time before then.
Yeah, maybe. I do think we need to find out who is the fastest.
I think it'd be cool, I'll come out there, I'll shoot video, we'll time it, we'll have a good time. But let's get into the schedule coming up on Friday. As we talked about, you're going to Chandler Gilbert Community College. Then on Saturday, it's Mesa Community College. And then, I believe these are all in Arizona.
Yep.
Mesa's in Arizona, actually, where my cousins live. So, but tell us a little bit about this road trip. What's going to be going down for you guys?
Oh, it's just a different variety for the girls. Get them to a new area, go play in some, different type of warm weather, different environments, and see different type of teams. So, we definitely want to go see somebody that we wouldn't see, up until, national tournament, something like that. So we always look, and obviously you gotta take budget into account and see what places are having deals and where we can go. So, we're doing this Arizona trip again, and then, hopefully we can go somewhere else, go see some different type of teams that, play different style, just stuff you wouldn't normally see.
What are, they were talking about, obviously, the championship stuff is in Enid, Oklahoma, that type of stuff. What are some chances that you might start scheduling some maybe Oklahoma teams, maybe Texas teams, Colorado teams? What are those chances in the future?
Well, I mean, we definitely want to. I'm talking with the Western Wyoming coach about hosting an opening weekend here. I think we've got about 4 or 5 teams we've tried to pick out to come. Nice. So we always did that, at a previous school. We always had a Labor Day tournament where we tried to rotate teams through and all that. So yeah, definitely going to I mean, I'll have anybody come, but
Anybody that wants to come, right?
They got to say yes at the end of the day. So, Gillette's a little ways up here. So, I think once we can we get the program established a little bit more, and we can get one or two really good teams to commit up here, that'll start the snowball effect, and we can get more. So, yeah, I mean, anybody wants to play, let's sign them up.
Absolutely. And well, first home game back after this road trip, you guys are going to get Western Nebraska Community College. You actually are going to be Laramie County and then back to Western Wyoming Community College. You get a 3-game homestand. How big is that after coming off of a big road stand?
Oh, it's huge. Just being able to practice on your own field, sleep in your own beds, it can't be stressed enough how draining it is to go on the road. So having 2 full weeks of being able to just get into a normal routine, the game day routine doesn't change, the practice days don't change, and you get to play on the same surface, or you get to train on the same surface that you get to play on. So I can tell we're going to be a team that's, if we're going to go play on grass, we got to go practice on grass. That switch over is very hard. So yeah, it's going to be huge, and hopefully you get some momentum going in. We want to go out and have a really good 3-game stand against these Arizona teams, and then roll that momentum into the first region game, because at the end of the day, that's all that matters. You want to play a good strength schedule, you want to go play a variety of teams, you want to have good results, but at the end of the day, just win your region tournament, you're at the national tournament. So yeah, it's set up really good. Western Nebraska was a competitive game last year. I'm not sure we haven't paid too much attention to it yet. Too early in the year to be watching scores. We've got so much to focus on ourselves, individually and as a team. So once we get back Monday, we'll start dissecting that. But it'll be a good test, and then obviously Saturday is one of the big ones. The team that's won the region the 2 years. I mean, multiple years, but the last 2 that I've been here, they've been able to get it together towards the end of the year and win it. So it's a good test right away.
And that tells you about how your team has been doing, especially scheduling these very tough opponents. It just, when you focus on playing teams that have won the tournament, have been to the tournament numerous times, it kind of just tells you about, 1, how you're placed out, 1, how you schedule opponents, but also 2, how you expect your teams to play.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think you obviously want to instill, the stuff that you've done in the past. The mentality doesn't change. We want to be that team, whether, the first year where we were really struggling, or whether this year where I think we have a really good shot at it. The mentality should never change, about how you approach a game and all that. But you do get to see lessons of teams like Laramie County, who has had a lot of success, that winners win at the end of the day, and they're able to find that extra gear. I ran into it 6 years in a row against Iowa Western. There were times in those games to go to the national tournament, you're winning, and they fight back. It's really hard to knock the champ out. So yeah, it's a good test. But hopefully the girls pick up on that, and we definitely don't want them to be in awe of anybody. I think what we have in the locker room here is as good as anything that we're going to see. So they've got to have the belief in themselves, but you also have to test yourselves against really good teams.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, we appreciate your time and joining us here once again on Coach's Corner, and appreciate you bringing Addy and Lexi in, and hopefully we'll get to talk to you later throughout the season.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having us.
Awesome. Once again, this has been the women's soccer team back here with Coach's Corner. Chase the Horseman Horsley here alongside with head coach Anthony Longo. We will see you guys next time on a Coach's Corner.